And then they have an open-eyed kiss.
They do.
Ugh, it's so gross.
Why are we looking at each other while we're
I
kissing?
held his gaze through the kiss. No, stop. Close your eyes. Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Allie. This week we're jumping into chapter 2 of A Court of Mist and Fury. I almost said A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah, so in this chapter, we kind of get our real first taste of like the dynamics. Like the first chapter and the prologue are like, it's barf time and we're sad. Second chapter is actual dynamics. We get the first I want to do something. No, you have to stay here and look pretty fight. Lost of tension with Tamlin, and Lucien thrown in the mix there. We also meet Ianthe, whatever. We know who I'm talking about. And lots of interesting like lore and some exposition about what's happened and Feyre's state of mind. The things she does, I was gonna say does and doesn't like, but I think she mostly doesn't like. And then so there's this chapter is long, and there's just so many interesting like little bits. Ianthe seems you can tell right away she is definitely like one of those little ambitious is what Feyre calls her. And so we get a lot of stuff with Ianthe and the ceremonies and the power, a lot of stuff about the priestesses in this chapter. And then we end the chapter with Tamlin coming back and like sort of quasi apologizing. Well, he does apologize, and then they fuck, and then we get some discussion between the two of them that quickly switches back into sex. And that's where we end the chapter. That's the conversation where we talk about the High Lady or lack thereof, which is a very interesting one for obvious reasons. So a lot here.
This is it's a long chapter. There's lots of thoughts. I know you kind of love the opening line of this chapter.
I don't want to go. All right, sorry, I want to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like out the gate, I want to go. No. We are right into the dynamics of these two. She wants to be helpful. She wants to do something. She wants to go out. And he's like, no, babe. You stay home. You stay home.
It's just a very classic. That's the first things that we hear them say to each other in this whole book.
Yeah. I did underline that when we see his face again, right? His face, ruggedly handsome, exactly as I dreamed it during those long months he'd worn the mask. I just made a note of it because the last book we talked about, you were exactly how I dreamed you would be kind of stuff. So just making a note that we're here again. But my next one was the third, I guess the paragraph underneath that. So behind him, already atop his dapple gray horse, along with 3 other Fey Lord sentries, Lucien silently shook his head in warning, his metal eye narrowing. Don't push him, he seemed to say. And I was like, everybody is walking on eggshells already.
They are
already. Like Lucien is like, don't do it, don't push him, don't make him mad, And I'm like, ugh, gross.
I sort of saw that as like she says, it's the second paragraph. I crossed my arms, tucking my tattooed hand under my right bicep and spread my feet slightly further apart on the dirt floor of the stable. She like takes this power stance, but first she hides the thing that she thinks might upset him.
Yep.
And it definitely speaks to like, there's
we got to tiptoe.
I've lived in a house where there's a person who you're like, everyone's like, don't get them wound up.
Yeah.
And it's very much those vibes.
Yeah.
It's also speaks to some camaraderie between the two of them too.
It does. I do like, because I made a note, right, Aelin and Rowan can mind speak to each other through the bond. And I do like that when we're getting something that we could be like, oh, are they mind speaking? Her and Lucien, I do like that it like, don't push him, he seemed to say. So I don't think that there's
Yes.
that direct, right? Because when Aelin and Rowan, and then even later when Feyre and Rhys do it, like it's very like it's very obvious that they are
Mhm.
speaking into each other's minds.
Well,
Where
actually,
this
Aelin
one,
Rowan, it always said, it starts out saying, it seemed like he said, it implied, and then it
mhm,
slips into just
yeah,
full on
just
conversations
full
that you're, if you
conversations,
think
yeah,
about it, you're like, you cannot say that much in glances. And so then you realize it, whereas like, which I really like. I like that she wasn't like,
yeah,
I wondered why I could speak into his mind. Like, I like how
yeah.
it's subtle and it's not like you have to really pay attention.
Yeah, it's
Um,
subtle before they do the Karanom thing, and then
yeah.
afterwards they just blame it on that. And then even Adian
Hmm.
makes a point because they're having this full conversation at dinner with Arabin, and Adian's like, "I still will never get used to this. Like, that's so weird." So it's kind of fun. Um, Sorry, side note, I think that Danica is a descendant of Findris.
Hmm. Yeah, because Fender. Yeah.
Findris, he's a wolf and he can winnow.
Hmm. Yeah, but also his last name's Moonbeam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess maybe last names do different shit. Because I'm just thinking about the connection. Because wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
There's also a bloodhound, but it's a fucked up. She just calls herself the Bloodhound, but she's a bloodhound. She's Erwin's bloodhound. She's like an Elkin.
mm-mm. I think Crescent City's the most disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
except for obviously like Lydia and stuff. But
Yeah.
it definitely seems like yeah, because I can see the association with Fenris, but then I'm like, but how? Why would they give his descendants his first name as their last name? But maybe stuff like that happens sometimes.
It
Um,
does. Although
yeah,
there is a wyvern whose name is Fendir.
yeah, no, that's interesting.
That's yeah, on the nose.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
anyhow, yeah, so chapter 2.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I also like how Tamlin is on a black stallion now because it's just he's not a knight on a white horse no
Nope, he's
more.
not.
He's on
Nope.
a black stallion. And it
Yep.
kind of the vibe just doesn't fit him, but it does
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it doesn't match, so it feels like a pointed choice and then it feels like, oh, he's not a white on a white horse type of
Yeah.
symbolism. It seems like a hint. Um yeah, this it's also interesting that they're having this argument like as he's walking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it's kind of like classic like sort of movie cinematic like one of those like chatty scenes where people are like walking around and talking, but in reality it's like they're trying to have a serious conversation and he tells her no and then just starts leaving because he just assumes there's a real person who wanted to have a real conversation would stand
Mm-hmm.
and talk to you about
Yeah.
it.
No,
Just
he's super dismissive the whole
he's just
time.
like nope.
Doesn't even want to have
Gets
this
on his horse.
conversation. Yeah. Even when she
He's trying to exit the conversation
yeah,
without instead of having it.
yeah, even when she power stances in front of him, he's like, "All right," and just keeps kind of going.
Yeah.
Um I wrote so on page 10, right? She's asking him to go. She's wanting to like she's talking about the horse, right? If it's just to maintain appearance of civility, of normalcy cuz he could run faster in his beast form, yada yada. And he says to her, "I don't have the sentries to spare to escort you." Yeah, cuz you sent them all to die, Tamlin. Uh so
I'm
it's
1 century short. If only he hadn't died.
I'm like, "Yeah, no shit you don't have any sentries because for 50 years you're just like, go on, do you, go die." Wild. I did make a note that hit the engagement ring that he gave to her is an emerald.
Green and gold.
Mm-hmm. Always.
I also think it's hilarious that she oh cuz she sees her ring cuz she like tugs on the horse. But anyway, yeah, she says it had been 2 months since Tamlin had proposed. 2 months of enduring presentations about flowers and clothes. Like I get that she's trying to
Yeah.
talk about it was enduring to do the planning of it, but like it's just like I never heard any fiance be like,
Nope.
I had to endure 2 months of being engaged. Like, it's just not
Yeah.
a good sign.
Yeah.
It's just
That
hilarious.
was always, it was so weird. Like wedding planning, we've both done it, right? Can be super stressful and not all of it is the most fun, but I feel like that is kind of where it sets the scene for whether or not you're compatible, is if you enjoy aspects of planning your wedding.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I think when I read it the first time, I just thought, okay, she's doing the pick me. Like, I don't want to do dresses and makeup. Who
mhm.
cares? Like, and so I thought it was more like that kind of thing, like,
Yeah.
or depression. Like, she's just not interested in things.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But I was like, I don't know, like, you're the reason you're excited to plan is because 'cause you're excited to be with your person,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Wow, this is the day where I finally get to, like, be in front of everyone and do this thing," like, it's so but she doesn't have any of that, she just is and maybe it's because Tamlin's making it an aesthetic choice, and so
Yeah.
that and she would have been excited if it was something else, but, I mean, I kinda think it's because she knows it's wrong in her little heart,
Yeah.
but,
But you're right, she also is not actually picking any of it, right? She doesn't get to
mm,
pick it because when she says she likes something, they make different choices. She fucking hates the dress,
yeah.
but she's gonna
Yeah,
wear it. And, like,
yeah.
yeah, she's not planning her wedding, she's planning the spring court wedding.
So maybe, like, when she realized that she wouldn't get much say, she sort of checked out, and then it was then
Yeah.
that's what she's enduring, but I still think it's it's like,
Yeah,
you at least excited to get married, but,
yeah.
she's
Yeah.
also freaking 19, so
Yeah, that's fair too.
understandable, but that's normal for her this time of, this culture, I'd say. Um,
Yeah.
uh
So, we know, and she tells us later, that winter solstice is her birthday, and she does not tell Tamlin about it, but this is what she says about winter solstice, also knowing that it does fall on her birthday. So, um, I had a small reprieve a week ago thanks to the winter solstice, though I'd traded contemplating lace and silk for selecting evergreen wreaths and garlands. But at least it was a break. 3 days of feasting and drinking and exchanging small presents, culminating in a long, rather odious ceremony on top of Foothill on the longest night to escort us from one year to another as the sun died and reborn anew, or something like that. She is so disinterested in
Mhm.
Fae culture. She's Fae now. And the girl who was like bright eyed and wanted to know all the things about all the things in the last book could give two shits about the holiday that falls on her birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason she gives for that is that she's essentially doing, like, the Southern California thing. It doesn't feel like there's seasons,
Yeah.
and, like, it's celebrating a winter holiday in a place that was permanently entrenched in spring, hadn't done much to improve my general lack of festive cheer. And
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, there's always going to be this metaphor of, like, the spring court is set up in book one to be the salvation. She's stuck in the harsh human winter, struggling, symbolic winter of, like, starving and hunting and having to, like, hold on by a thread, and this
Mhm.
new chance at life comes with her going to the spring court. And so it's always going to be stuff like that is feels very loaded. And so a line like this where she's not enjoying spring because she's had too much of it,
Yep.
um or because there's some mismatch, like, and that's just it just feels like a very pointed. um but yeah, yeah, I feel you, girl. I also feel like time does not truly pass.
Yeah.
um
Well,
I
and
hate
just
it.
like it, so she's talking about the parties, and like the party goes all night and then they had to be up super early. Like all of it is just exhausting. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to party. She doesn't want to wake up to go to the ceremony, right?
Yeah.
It was bad enough that I'd been required to stand before the gathering courtiers and lesser fairies while Tamlin made his many toasts and salutes. Mentioning that my birthday had also fallen on the longest night of the year was a fact I'd conveniently forgotten to tell anyone. I'd received enough presents anyways.
Yeah.
Like she's so fucking checked out.
Also,
She
like, it's weird that nobody knows her birth. I don't know. It just seems like such a strange thing. I don't know. It's like first date material, and she truly
well,
didn't
and
have real first, like,
but
whatever.
then again, maybe she's already kind of aware that having a bargain with the Lord of the Night Court and being born on the longest night of the year doesn't bode well. She doesn't want to talk about
Ooh,
night at all.
that's funny.
She's like, we
Yeah.
don't we don't need to talk about how I was born on the winter solstice, thanks. How it was destined to be night court. Yeah. On the next page, on page 11, it's about halfway down.
Oh, I was thinking
Um,
before that.
oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Also, okay. So I just thought it was funny how well, maybe it's just kind of, we've already kind of talked about it, but it basically she was like talking about how she's got too much stuff, and she's like, I had so little use for so many things. Now only 2 weeks stood between me and the ceremony. If I didn't get out of the manor, if I didn't have to do something, have a day to do something other than spend Tamlin's money, be groveled to, and then she gets interrupted. But I
Mhm.
always wonder, like I wrote in my, like I was like, what's on the other end of that if? Like, she's saying, "I'm
Mhm.
getting married in 2 weeks. If I don't do something," because she starts with, like, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. If something doesn't happen, the implication is that, like, it's
Yeah.
almost like she's already anticipating, like, "I can't do this." She's just
Yeah.
not saying it, and she doesn't let herself finish the thought. But it is very, like, one of those moments that's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean if?
Yeah. I mean, at the
If
very
you don't do
least, it's
this,
like if I don't get at it to do
I'm gonna
something else,
lose
I'm
my
gonna lose my
mind."
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But the larger implication is that, like, I don't know if I can go through with this if I don't get a break from this.
Yeah, and it's specifically because that's paired with that first sentence.
Yeah.
And I
Because
just
this is going to be the rest of her life. This is what it's gonna look like, picking out china patterns, picking out dresses, like,
Mhm.
being sequestered, like, she kind of already knows things are not gonna change after the wedding. Like, this is what my
Yeah,
life is gonna look like. And, like,
yeah,
it drove me nuts when he's like, "It's not safe, especially for you." She's in Fae form, she's indestructible right now to some degree.
yeah.
She
Well,
did all those things in the first book as human, but now she's not saying, and, like, I get it, she's more of a target, but she was just as big of a target literally in the trials. It's just
yeah.
it feels so, like, infantilizing.
No, it definitely is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I had, so I followed him into the bright cloudless day beyond the stables, the grasses coating the nearby foothills, undulating in the soft breeze. I want to come back. Sorry, people want to come back. They want a place to live. And then he says, those same people see you as a blessing, a marker of stability. If something happened to you, he cut himself off as he halted his horse at the edge of the dirt path that would take him to the eastern woods. Lucian was waiting, blah, blah, blah. There's no point in rebuilding anything if Amarantha's creatures tear through the lands and destroy it again. And I wrote, like, he already sees her as a figurehead, but no power. They see you as
Mhm.
a blessing, Feyre. You need to be safe.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally like he would put her on his money and give her no power. She's the queen. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was also it's strangely invested in how she'll be seen. It's not, that's not fully fair because technically she was the one who said, "Oh, the people," and he's just sort of countering it, but he's actually kind of also saying by way of that, like, people will be sad if you fucking die.
Yeah.
It's not like I'll be sad if you die.
Yeah,
Like
it's I
he's
need you.
framing it
Yeah.
through what other people think.
And how it benefits him,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? My court and my people need to know that you're safe because they see you as a blessing, and your stability means my stability and rulership.
Yes.
That the more stable they see you, the less they're going to question my shit.
Yeah, which is funny because yeah, he is just like a little scared boy who doesn't know how to rule things, I feel like.
Or he's
Uh,
manipulative as fuck. That could be an option too. That he's like, no, if my people are happy and they're happy because they see this blessing, then they won't rise up and question anything that I do when in my rebuilding process.
hmm. At this stage, okay, there's something else that happens later. I can't remember what it is now that made me think, oh, he's just like, like, he doesn't, I bet, like, not that I was like sympathizing with him necessarily, although maybe somewhat. Um, maybe recognize it when we see it, but there was some part where I was thinking like, oh, he is just like scared for anyone to like see him. Well, yeah, maybe that's it. It could both be true, but
Yeah, it could be both.
it was very interesting. It's
Yeah, I'm okay with the fact that he's scared for her, but I think he's also
for him as well.
afraid of challenges to his authority.
Yes, yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like
The
he's got like that tight fist over
Mhm.
his rule
Yeah.
instead because he's just like, yeah, maybe he thinks he's gonna get challenged or something. But like by who? Like
Yeah, right, who's gonna
there's no
challenge the
mention of
high.
anyone who
Yeah,
maybe is gonna be the next High Lord at all.
yeah.
Like
And I mean, maybe he's worried about rebellions because, for 50 years their High Lord didn't do anything while they suffered under the mountain. That could be part of it.
mhm,
He's like, "No,
yeah.
these people are actually pretty pissed off at me right now, so I'm gonna need you to just, like, make them
Yeah,
happy."
maybe they've actually been protesting. He doesn't want her to see the protest.
They have no king's protests happening over by
Yep.
the over by the Starlight Pool.
No Tamlin's protest. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Fuck
yeah.
your fuck your tribute, Tamlin.
The tithe?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I also thought it was interesting how she's like very offended that Lucian didn't, lie to her.
Yeah.
Because it tells you that she expected the truth from him, which
Yeah.
means she expects a lot more from him than so you can just tell that they're closer than her and Tamlin.
Yeah, or that she at least she's very like, this is where it's kinda slapping her in her face that, like, Lucian's loyalty is going to be to Tamlin and not to
To
her.
Tam, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
she's offended that she's like, "The one person that I thought who could be an ally for me and help me talk to him is I have nobody." And
Yeah.
she thinks she has Ianthe, but I was sus of that bitch from the beginning.
I think she's sus of that bitch from the beginning too,
Mhm.
actually. I mean, she kind of blabbers and talks to her. I think she maybe just underestimates her and thinks she's just some kind of gossipy
Yeah.
woman. Um, but she says something that she seems from the get-go like her subconscious suspects Ianthe, even if
Yeah.
she doesn't say it outwardly. Um, ooh, and she doesn't say I love you back.
She does not,
Is that
but
what you're talking to?
no, the
Okay.
last sentence on page 11 drives me up the wall.
I can't do what I need to do if I'm worrying about whether you're safe.
It's all I. It's
It's
all
also
me
like the
statements.
women shouldn't go to war argument.
Yeah.
Can't have women on the battlefield. All the men will go crazy.
Feyre is like, I need to get out of here. I want to help. I want to, and yeah, it's all I statements, but she wants to help. She
Mhm.
wants to do something. She wants to help rebuild. She wants to be a part of it. And his answer is, I
I
can't do what I need to do if I have to worry about you. Like, fuck. Okay. Just selfish Tamlin right there on page 11, right
Yeah.
out the gate.
Or at least self-centered. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, whatever, heavy is the head that wears the crown, but still do better,
Oh,
Tamlin.
I'm not pitying no fucking landlord. Let's be real. Um,
That's fair.
I just, I can't always be. Sometimes I just feel like I have to like balance it a little bit, even though I am very like fuck Tamlin.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we want to be compassionate when we can, but yeah, no, he's a dick. Yeah, she does not say I love you back.
yeah, I thought that was noticeable. Like, if this is the beginning of my romance book, and the person we're supposed to be with, she says I love you, and okay, she does say it back. I nodded, murmuring it back as he trotted to her, but she's murmuring.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay, I'm actually just wrong. She does say it back.
Um
Um, but it's still interesting.
I love that he doesn't know, like, he already doesn't see her, right? I'm sure there are things you can help out around the house, or you could paint or try out the new set I gave you for winter solstice. She's like,
It's just such classic
it's
man
been
shit. Like, don't
3
you like to go
months.
shopping? You're a girl. It's
And
like
and
that.
she's like, "It's been 3 months, motherfucker. Have you seen me paint anything? You know I don't paint anymore." Like, it's so
Yeah.
you clearly know that I'm not doing that.
Well, and he's just like living in the past of like
Yeah.
when we first met, you loved to paint and you sat and painted all day and and to be
Yeah.
fair, you could like stop your hobby for a couple months and like, but he probably should have been like, "Why don't you paint?"
Yeah, or yeah, and it really is like him just trying to go back to the way it was, where the dynamic was that
Yes.
she was human and he was Fey and he had all the power.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a little bit of worry that she has more support and power than he does, and that's why he keeps her
And by
sequestered?
support.
Like, the people love her more than they love him.
Hmm.
I could see that being deep down somewhere in his brain, maybe subconscious,
Yeah.
of being
It's
like,
like that is stinky man brain. That's what men do.
"Mhm."
But like, I mean, okay, I just think like, is there textual evidence for that? Not necessarily, but uh, It could definitely be. It's definitely a
Yeah,
possibility.
yeah.
Um, because it would
I
fit, but
think what I do think what we're supposed to be getting here is that they are not equals. And that speaks to them. I
yes,
mean, she's already like, I wasn't his mate as far as I knew. And
yeah,
like we like it says that, but I think one, that's also to indicate he's definitely not her mate because mates are equals.
yeah. Well, and the Ianthe thing about we'll get there.
Yeah. Like even Alice won't let her do anything, like mostly out of like gratitude, but still that's exhausting. She's like, I supported my, or I mean, I don't know. There are things that I think that Nesta and Elaine were doing that Feyre didn't see, but you know, she's like, from Feyre's perspective,
Yeah.
she's like, I kept my family alive at 14 by feeding them,
Hmm.
and then I went and saved your entire fucking kingdom. Can I just wash a dish? Like, can you let me do something? This isn't who I am.
Yeah, or just like being treated like, oh, we
Uh,
don't care what you feel or think.
yeah,
You're just our object to take care of.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
which I'm sure is maddening.
And she also feels
Um,
like shit, right? She doesn't feel like she deserves it because she killed people.
yes.
And so the doting on her and the gratitude and the telling her that
Like
she's a
so weird.
savior makes all of that worse because she's like,
Yeah.
that's not how this feels. I don't feel like I succeeded anywhere. Like, in fact, I feel like I took the lives of two innocent people.
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks him in the eye and makes herself smile.
Yes.
Like,
It's so forced.
so forced. Um, she calls the bright dresses her daily uniform.
It's like, okay, that's like it's like it's work to be in a relationship with Tamlin.
Yeah. And also, they're just trying to change everything about her.
Yes.
Like the day I put on my pants and tunic, the day I strapped weapons to myself like fine jewelry, it would send a message far and clear across
Mhm.
the lands. It wouldn't, though.
Well, yeah, I can see the argument does sort of make sense, but it's like it is silly, what I was really thinking when he said that specific line, was like, okay, like if we were to picture like a different character, like you know, there's plenty of king characters who like just do whatever the fuck they want, and everyone just goes, yeah, well, he's so powerful that we're not gonna question anything he does, and so yeah,
Yeah.
like if Tamlin really had it locked down. He could just be like, I don't give a shit. She's gonna train because she feels like it. And there's
Yeah.
shut up if you think that there's no peace here because just because of that, you're stupid. And like, you know what I mean? If
Yeah.
he really had that kind of like and maybe
Yeah.
he is just worried about what people think about him, that he's so terrified to be perceived at any kind of weakness.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, I feel like a real leader would be like, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Yeah. My
Not
my
that I like
wife
those kinds of
my
leaders.
wife is your savior. So yeah, she's going to carry a dagger.
Yeah.
Like
She
chill.
likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fell in
Uh,
love with her because of her strength. That doesn't change.
yeah. So he's
Yep.
just not willing to make any waves at all.
Yeah.
And
And he's just so worried about optics. He's just worried about what the perception is.
yeah. Although I will note with that part, she says she agrees.
Mhm.
I hated the bright dresses, but I didn't have the heart to tell Tamlin. He bought so many, and he looked so happy to see me wear them. Again, we feel bad if we're gonna make him sad at all. And then she goes, not when his words weren't far from the truth, and the stuff about like putting on the weapons. But so she essentially says like she wore the gowns and it let Alice do her hair, if only it would buy these people a measure of peace and comfort. So it's not for Tamlin that she's doing it. It's because she cares about the people, and
Yeah.
that is just some high lady shit for.
Yeah.
But it is funny that she kind of like, you know, yeah, she's doing it for them, not him. Um, this was one of the first places where I sort of formed my first hypothesis. Oh, Tamlin's thing is aesthetics, and then I started looking
Yeah.
for it, and I was like, oh, it's everywhere, it's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that line, this about the dresses, was one of the first things that really brought me there.
Do you realize though that the dagger is the one that Lucian had given her originally, and the belt for the dagger Lucian also gave to her?
Yeah,
I just find it interesting that the one little space that she has to feel safe for herself is provided by Lucien.
Yeah. Well, and what's the significance of that? Just like it's just interesting to
It's
note.
yeah, it's just not
Okay.
Tamlin, right? At least Tamlin didn't object to the dagger I kept at my side, hanging from a jeweled belt. Lucien had gifted me both. The dagger during the months before Amarantha, and the belt in weeks after her downfall, when I'd carried the dagger along with many others everywhere I went. You might as well look good if you're going to arm yourself to the teeth, he said. And
Yeah,
so
I
like,
think Lucian is the only one who sees her as like a person
yeah.
as opposed to like a
Well, because he feels
mannequin.
sorry when
Yeah.
and he won't. His loyalty is still to his role with Tamlin.
Yeah.
But I do find that like right, this could have easily been right. Tamlin didn't object when I had the dagger. He bought the belt for me and said I might as well look pretty well. Like if Tamlin had
Yeah,
bought that
it
for her, it
is
would have
a
shown a little
choice.
bit of something, right? But no, Tamlin is like begrudgingly
Oh, it's
saying
fine.
fine, and probably because Lucien was like, it's a gift, it's pretty. And Lucien knows how to do the loopholes, right? He
Yes.
got her a jeweled belt. So it's
He's
pretty.
like, "It's aesthetic, Tamlin. People will think it's
Exactly. Yeah.
cute, and
Yeah.
they'll
She
think,
should
oh,
she should be
funny
able to
funny
protect herself just
purse
in
breaker."
case she feels safer with it. And really it's just jewelry.
Yeah.
Like it's not even really a weapon. We all know that this is pretty much just a necklace. And so I think it's Lucien who knows how to find the loopholes that she doesn't know how to
Yeah.
find yet.
Because he's been doing it a lot longer. Yeah.
Okay, this whole part right here is so depressing, right? But even if stability reigned for 100 years, I doubt I'd ever awake one morning and not put on that knife. 100 years. I had that. I had a century ahead of me. Centuries with Tamlin, centuries in this beautiful, quiet place. Perhaps I'd sort myself out somewhere, sometime along the way, perhaps not. A century with Tamlin sounds exhausting to her.
Yeah.
You
And
give a
she
human an immortal lifespan, like, that's what all I mean, I don't know about me specifically, but that's like mortals crave immortality. There's a million myths about immortality, the elixir of
Mhm.
immortality, right?
Yeah.
And finding that. I mean, thousands upon thousands of stories. And
Yeah.
you have this one who gets it, and she's just like, that's
Oh
what I
god.
have. I have centuries.
Yeah, yeah. Most humans would be like, "Oh, I could do this and this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, in the first book, she was like, all I would have gotten was decades with him, and it wouldn't be like, it was nothing. And now she has all the time that she ever wanted with Tamlin, and she's like, great.
Yeah, I also
Awesome.
think it's like it's interesting that well, first of all, she doesn't see a future where she's not gonna want her knife around her as her little comfort blanket, which means she's never gonna feel safe, at least,
Yep.
in her current standing. Because right now she can't imagine a life with Reese or anything
Yeah.
outside of this life. So that was interesting to me, as well as like kind of with that, like centuries in the beautiful place. Perhaps I sorted myself out, perhaps not. Like she's just like maybe I'll go centuries without ever changing or
Yep.
fixing myself, and that's just extremely
And
an
I think
extremely
part of
depressing
it too is
idea.
because she doesn't see how she can fix it. Because there's nobody to ally with. There's no one to talk to, no one who's supporting her, no one who's listening to her. She's shouting at deaf people,
Yeah,
basically.
and she's just this one dimensional thing that just has to
Yeah, and
do.
so she's
Yeah,
like, "Maybe I won't." Like, there's no point in it. Who I'm just gonna keep shouting and shouting and shouting, they're not gonna hear me, so maybe I won't sort myself out. Like,
yeah,
she's in a place that is incredibly dark.
yeah, yeah.
No pun intended for the Night Court. Um, I circled, I didn't make a note, like an annotation for it, but I circled that, like, all those painting, all those supplies, all the blank canvases waiting for me to pour out stories and feelings and dreams, I'd hate it.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't wanna pour out her stories and feelings because they all suck right now.
Well, and they won't let her. Like, could you imagine if she did go and pour out all of her feelings and dreams onto those canvases? Tamlin would have hidden them away or burned them or gotten rid of them because it was too
I don't
dark.
necessarily think that, but I think it's not like he's like, "Feyre, let's put this one on the fridge." Like, it's not like they're displayed necessarily, but I don't think he would hide them that much maybe, because especially art is so interpretive that he could just, you know
Well, and she probably is a shitty artist, so who knows what it was actually on there. But Also, like, I mean, who knows if he would ever even have asked to see them. Could you imagine if
Exactly.
she,
Yeah,
like, has
that's what, like,
all this stuff? Like, that could be what's scarier too, is that, like, I don't wanna pour my heart out onto these canvases to have the man that I love still ignore the room that they're in.
yeah, although I will say as an artist, like, I think she could be more okay with that because sometimes you're just like don't want,
Yeah.
you're doing it for you, and that
But
she
I
definitely
think
does it for her. But yes,
yeah, but
yeah,
I think she
um,
needs someone to help. Like, this is a moment where she needs more productive therapy. She needs to talk to people. She needs to be
yeah,
heard. And I think that that could be
and she,
also why she doesn't want to paint is because she can't vocalize what she's feeling, so she can't paint it. Because it's all going to come out in just the dark moments. She's not going to be able to work through it. It's just going to be paintings of Ator and blood.
and she, yeah, she doesn't want to face that that's all she thinks about, so she's
Yeah.
not gonna, yeah, um, yeah, and she's just not noticing things, some more depression vibes, which we already know from the vomiting, like that this is just like
Yeah.
life is hard. Um, and then we get our sweet female voice trilled my name from inside the open doors of the manor, and the tightness in my shoulders eased a bit.
Mm-hmm. Ianthe the
Ianthe
high
being the comforting one.
Yeah, the high priestess, as well as a high fae noble and childhood friend of Tamlin's, who'd taken it upon herself to help plan the wedding festivities. I'm
Taking
sorry.
it upon herself.
That's bold.
And taking it upon herself to worship me and Tamlin as if we are newly minted gods. Um, those are
Blessed and
interesting
chosen by
choices.
the cauldron itself.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely got some kind of angle. Do we ever know what her angle was? Was it just to like Tamlin's a big deal because he was just the center of attention, so I'm just gonna be there to like what do we know like what she's trying to do here?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't
And
really
I don't
know. I
remember if
think she
it's
just
ever.
wants some power. Just
Yeah,
thought
and I
she would
don't
win
ever
them.
remember if it's specifically stated. I have a feeling that she wants to be like the sort of priestess of all priestesses kind of a thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Um, but I don't know that we ever get like a true mention of what her motives are.
Okay. I was just curious because I was like,
But she does want to
yeah,
manipulate the High Lords because
for
she
sure.
tries to seduce Reese
Reese
years
and
ago
Lucian.
and
Yeah.
Lucian.
And a lot of it seems like she's
Do
just
you The whole time I was reading this though, I kept being like, is he fucking her on the side?
do I think Tamlin and Anthe be fucking no. But I do think that they probably have fucked.
Oh, okay. I'm down for that.
What
I
you
could
when
see
you
that.
started saying that sentence, like I think they could probably grew up and like fucked like as teenagers or something or
Oh yeah.
whatever,
For
45 years
sure.
old, whatever the equivalent of teenagers is.
For sure.
Because if they're childhood friends, they kind of seem like the types. Which
Although
that'd
if
be kind
they're
of crazy. I brought my ex to live at our house and plan our wedding.
also if they're childhood friends, do you know who else she was friends with?
Reese?
Amarantha.
Amarantha. Well,
Because
no, because Amarantha was in Hybern the whole time. She just met him a couple times, right?
she met him a
Or
few times and then they became friends.
during the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
After the war. After the war, they became friends.
Mm,
He met her a few times during the war. He was young. And
okay.
then after the war, they got closer and she fell for him.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if there's some overlap between Ianthe and Amarantha. They got similar vibes.
Yeah, she definitely wouldn't say so now,
No.
because she knows what happened. But that is, well, I don't know. I feel like, hmm,
Just
that's
saying.
interesting.
I'm sure that they have fucked.
Although I feel like if there was, she might have. Would she have? Okay, if Ianthe was over here, you think she's siding with Amarantha, right? She's riding high in that court. Probably,
Yeah. Well, she went and hid. They went to Valahan.
but it's because her dad sent her over. But like, if
Yeah.
she's this little like conniving little bitch.
Oh,
So
she's side 100%. She's siding with Amarantha for power.
yeah, can you imagine the threesome between her, Reese, and Amarantha?
It's like, I mean, they're all gorgeous, but no thank you.
No, it's just it's like
That's
I
a
don't know
weird
why it was
dynamic.
funny, but I could just that's what she would do. She'd be like
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, I think this is also the line, then when she's talking about who had taken it upon herself to plan, who had taken it upon herself to worship me and Tamlin, I feel like Feyre is weirded out by this and feels like she's saying it like this because she's a little bit suspicious. She's like,
Yeah.
and she wants to worship us. Like it's I think it's meant to give us the feeling that Feyre doesn't feel worthy to be worshipped, but I think it's like she's like, what's up with
Yeah,
this?
I remember the
Uh
first time reading this and being like, I don't like her. Something about her I don't like. But yeah,
yep.
maybe that's just my own predilection for female relationships. Who knows? But yeah.
That's why we're friends because I'm basically a man.
Me too.
We're just two dudes with an Akadar
Yeah, I'm
podcast.
like if someone tried to jump in like if someone tried to jump in and plan my wedding and tell me what my husband liked, I'd be like, what?
Fuck you.
I don't care how long you know that motherfucker. You don't know him like that unless you do, and now we got issues. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, also, this line, where is that? Okay. Yeah, so a lot of this I think is just like a lot of this exposition actually does well to set the tone as kind of ominous because it seems like there's a lot of things brewing and a lot of like Ianthe's the high priestess and Tamlin's doing this and like people are doing this and everyone's watching and so it's an interesting actually good way to do exposition.
Mhm.
Um I think it's really interesting the way she says beyond that, while Tamlin was the one who paid for my everyday clothes, it was Ianthe's eye that selected them. She was the heart of her people, ordained by the hand of the goddess to lead them from despair and darkness.
I wrote, how many faces does that goddess have?
Seriously. But like, what does she mean? What is Feyre talking about? Like, she was the heart of her people? Heart of the priestesses or heart of like the people in the land? I feel like that's a
Yeah.
weird thing to say about a random fucking
Yeah. I
person
think
she's
I
known for
think
two
I think we're
months.
supposed to be forced to be endeared to Ianthe as the reader, that we're
Okay.
supposed to see her as good. I
Yeah.
think this is the red herring of it
Although
all.
her saying I was in no position to doubt, um it speaks to
Directly.
like I want to doubt, but I'm not I shouldn't.
Yep.
Like it's definitely some warning bells. She hadn't let me astray yet.
Mhm.
And
Well, and she's so lonely that it's like, of
yeah.
course, sitting with anybody. Like, I'm like, I remember when we were in pandemic, like, we told strangers all sorts of unhinged shit because we hadn't had any fucking human contact for months on end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And humans, whether they're fey or not, they need people. Like, we're social beings. She needs
Mhm.
support, and all she's getting it is from Ianthe and physically from Tamlin, but not emotionally.
Yeah. Not yeah.
Okay, I have an Ianthe theory.
Okay.
Ianthe is a blood witch, and I don't know if she's actually a blue blood witch. She doesn't have all the iron teeth and all the bullshit, but I think that there's a connection between the priestesses in this world and blue blood witches in Throne of Glass.
And do you have quotes for this one or no?
Yep, sure
Okay.
do.
Let's hear them.
So, this is after the space marker on 14. And they're talking about seating charts for the wedding,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
We can't let her sit next to him. They'll rip each other to shreds, yada yada. And then we'd have blood running down the table linens. Okay. Beneath her pale gray blue hood, Ianthe furrowed her brow, crinkling the tattoo of various stages of moon cycles stamped across it. The blue blood witches wear blue robes
Hmm.
that
Okay.
covers their head. Part of their robes, they say, is because it's their religious garb. They are considered priestesses as well as blue blood matrons. They're always praying to the three-faced goddess and doing all of their
Huh.
ceremonies and say that their ceremonies is what brings them power. And
Really?
yes, all the time.
Fuck.
Also, the blue blood have a crown of thorns on their head that digs into their skin, like into their skin. Okay. And now Ianthe has a tattoo across her forehead. Maybe it's a bargain, or maybe it's from that tradition of etching something across your forehead. And also, the other person that we know who has a thorn tattoo across his forehead
This
is
hunt.
Hunt.
I yes.
So it
Dude,
could just be an aesthetic, could be an SJM quirk that she's into this shit. But I think that the fact that the robes are the same, that she has this headdress that's literally marked into her skin.
I didn't realize it was in her skin.
Well, I mean, it's a tattoo. It's it's marked into her skin. The same way that the thorns dig into the skin of the Blue Bloods witches.
Hmm.
So there's some sort of
Yeah,
like
the tattoo.
body modification that's happening on the brow. And then,
Hmm.
right, all high priestesses wore the billowing, artful twists and layered robes, though they were certainly far from matronly. Right. Ianthe's slim waist was on display with a fine belt of sky blue, limpid stones, each perfectly oval and held in shining silver. Atop her head, sorry, and atop her hood sat a matching circlet, a delicate band of silver with a large stone at the center. A panel of cloth had been folded up beneath the circlet with a built in swath meant to be pulled over the brow and eyes when she needed to pray, beseech the cauldron or mother, or just think. Ianthe had shown me once what the panels look like when drawn, only her nose and full sensuous mouth visible. The voice of the cauldron.
Yeah.
I found the image unsettling, that merely covering the upper part of her face had somehow turned the bright, cunning female into an effigy, into something other.
The capitalized other too.
Yeah, into a witch. Um, so it's just I'm like that's that, and then later, sorry, it's because later, Lucian. So I'm on page 17. I'm going to jump up real quick.
Hmm.
Um, I hadn't witnessed it's the bottom of 16 to 17. I
Yeah.
hadn't witnessed any magic from her. This is Ianthe. But when I asked Lucian, he frowned and said that their magic was drawn from their ceremonies and could be utterly lethal should they choose it. Like the yielding?
Wait, because what? How does Blueblood magic work? Or like witches are weird in Throne of Glass, right?
Witches don't have any magic. They have long life, speed, strength that they get from the Fae, and they can. I mean, Manon can feel the eddies of the cauldron, right? She can feel the pull of fate sometimes. She feels it when she chooses Abraxas. She feels it at a couple of other points.
Oh, I never took that literally. I just thought it was her being like, fate must be doing this because I'm. It's the vibe.
It's a couple of times though where she says like the air feels like taut. But she can also sense the air because she can fly. So they can turn like they can carve their brooms and they can fly. But other than that, they don't have magic. The only
Interesting.
magic, and Manon says it over and over again. The only magic we have is the yielding.
I don't know how I just like never. Maybe because I just there's such strong
Hmm.
standards of what witches are that I just never realized. But yeah, that's
And when
interesting.
she's talking to Dorian, she's like, "It's the only magic that we have, and we blow ourselves to smithereens, basically." And he's like, "That's suicide." And she's like, "It is, but if you take people out while you're doing it," and that's what he's like, "Is that what we have to contend with in this war?" And she's like, "Maybe with younger covens who will see the fight and get scared and think it's their only choice, but from the older ones, they're too arrogant to do that."
Mm, yeah, that is really interesting. I also was like, why is Lucian frowning? Like, did you think that was like
That's
okay?
that's
Because
what
like
I'm
when
thinking though. Could you
someone
imagine if the yielding is that magic? He would frown because their only magic is self-destruction.
yeah, but it's okay. It's maybe it's because I'm picturing it different. When you say frown, like in that context, like if I talk to someone and they ask a question, the frown is because they think it's weird that you asked the question, or they can't really give the full answer, or they don't want to like you know what I mean. It feels like some kind of other thing there. Like
I
what?
mean, or
Wondering
or
why are you asking about this? Or, I
or
don't
there's like a sadness and disgust to the answer.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I can see that too. I was just like, I was so stuck on like, why is he frowning?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to
I
say
mean, he
first.
certainly doesn't think it's a good power. He frowns, right? So like I can imagine when he's like, if she's like, I haven't seen her do any magic, what she do? And he's just like, well, I mean, they have a thing that they say it's from their ceremonies, but like it's Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, I was like, that's blue blood all over it. She's got witch stuff. And then the fact that like the image unsettles Feyre, because we always talk about like, does Feyre have like these witch connections sometimes? I mean, Nesta
Mhm.
for sure, and like Feyre does as well. And so I'm like, I'm wondering what is it about that could be unsettling for her, and that she becomes other. Because she
Yeah.
could have said, right, this could have been like a covering the top half of her mask remind me of the trauma of last year because everyone in the spring court had masks. But she
Mhm.
doesn't say that, right? She's like, she became an effigy of something fucking different entirely. And they keep saying that about Manon all the time. She's as alien to us as the Valg. She's different. She's other. She's not human. She's not
Hmm.
Fae. Like all the time. Like when they find out that Dorian's into her, they're like, "Really? That's what you want? She's so different. She's so not us." And he's like, "Yeah, it's okay." And so this
Mhm.
like othering all the time, I was like, I don't know, that just clicked in my
Yeah.
head.
Interesting. Yeah, the voice of the cauldron thing was so strange to me. I was like, "What
Mhm.
is that?"
Yeah. There's a moment on here where the logic is really stupid. On page 15. So Ianthe's talking about the seating chart, and she's like, it's like a game, all these pieces vying for power or dominance, willing to shed blood if need be. It must be a strange adjustment for you. And then Feyre's like, she's thinking, she said, such elegance and wealth, yet the savagery remained. The high fae weren't the tittering nobility of the mortal world. No, if they feuded, it would end with someone being ripped to bloody ribbons, literally. And then later, right, a little bit later, it says, now I could fight alongside them, against them, not that I tried. I was watched to monitor, to judge. And then she says, why should the bride of the High Lord learn to fight if peace had returned? And I said, really, you just answered your own question, because the people who you're inviting to your wedding feud to the point of ripping each other to smithereens.
Yeah, but that's
Like,
what you have Tamlin for, so he can fight them to smithereens.
so stupid. She's like, the Fae are not like the fickle nobility back home. Like when they fucking fight to the death. Why should I, as a High Lord's wife, know how to fight?
That is funny.
Because you're in a position of power that if they're gonna attack Tamlin, they're gonna attack you. You need to be able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
I do love this foreshadow of my sister Nesta would fit right in.
I know. I was like, it's so overt. Yeah, Nesta would fit right in with the High Fae because she's already one of them.
I also thought, right,
Maybe Nesta's a changeling. That's why she's so bitchy.
could be. Um I thought that this could be the moment that Ianthe got the idea from Feyre to change her sisters. Or that she comes back to this sentence. And her like
Oh, I
when the
was thinking about, oh, she's telling him she shouldn't tell him or this stuff, but yeah, saying Nesta would fit right in is kind of like,
like, could you imagine if they're like plotting and Ianthe's like, Feyre told me once that her sister would fit right in. She would love to be Fae. And like use that, or at least to have like, I don't think that she's thinking about it in this moment, but I think that
no,
this could be a
yeah,
conversation that she comes back to and she's like, oh, I got an idea. We're gonna grab
yeah,
her sisters. Yeah.
that is so funny.
Ianthe has teal eyes.
Galathinius eyes? No, Ash Driver eyes.
Ash River
Ash
eyes.
Driver eyes.
Bright gold hair and those teal eyes. Oh, this is another thing that points to Ianthe having some witch connections. So
Okay.
I've skipped way ahead. I'm on 17, towards the middle.
Okay.
Um, I also circled that there's 12 priestesses because I always want to know how many people there are in different groups, and I think there's 12 gods.
Mhm.
And so, but anyways, so she's talking about what she had Feyre's talking about what she had expected of Ianthe, right? The celibacy. And then she said, that's not what I got. She said, priestesses could marry, bear children, and dally as they would. It would dishonor the cauldron's gift of fertility to lock up their instincts, their inherent female magic in bearing life. That's so witch coded.
Is it?
Yes, because it says that the greatest honor a witch can have is to bear a witchling, and the greatest dishonor a witch can
Oh,
have is to lose one.
interesting.
That witches value their witchlings above anything else.
Yeah, okay. That is interesting. Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I don't think that's why, but that's one of the like that's the reason that we're given why Asterin has unclean etched into her stomach was because her baby was born stillbirth, which I
Oh, I
don't
thought it was
necessarily
because
think
it was with a human.
that too, but that's who they would have. I mean, I guess they would have fucked whoever. It doesn't matter who the father is. It matters that, at least with the story, is that the reason why is because the baby died. And then she finds out that it's with a mortal and whatever else. But and so that could be
Oh,
part
wait,
of it. But
I thought the grandma killed her baby.
no, she told her that it was stillbirth, didn't let her see it, and threw it into the fire.
Oh.
So there's some ambiguity as to whether or not it was actually dead or if the queen is just a cunt. Which there's lots of textual evidence for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just says your
Um,
grandmother told me it was a stillborn, wouldn't even let me see it, threw it into the fire and carved unclean on my stomach.
oh, she delivered it. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that she labored for like 3 days and thought that the baby was going to rip her apart, but she got her out. And then her mother told her, or then the grandmother said that she had died.
It makes you wonder if that baby's somewhere.
Yeah, like in a cottage, in
Yeah,
an
like in a
ironwood,
cottage.
in an ironwood bed, dying
Oh,
around
no.
all of her little witchlings and the creature she created.
I thought you meant in a cottage like the Weaver's cottage.
Oh, that too. No, I think the Weaver is something else. I have theories about the Weaver.
Mm. Okay, but also the line where, you know, this whole, like, a lot of these early chapters I tend to think of, they sound like Feyre trying to, like, slowly coming to terms with, like, she doesn't really like Tamlin, because, like,
Hmm.
she'll, like, that's what this honestly, dot dot dot, it feels like, okay, here's what I was thinking, and I'll kind of admit it to myself type of vibe. Honestly, Ianthe with her bright gold hair and those teal eyes, elegant features, supple body, look more like Tamlin's mate, his equal. Um, and then she talks about like how they're, secure power for them both.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it's like she's just looking for it's well, she understands Ianthe's ambition, so it's like on some level she's like seeing through things, but
Hmm.
also it's like she's looking for a way out. She's looking
Yeah.
for, hey, you'd be better with this girl and happier, and you could
Yep.
both be little
Yep.
scheming little bitches together.
Yep.
Um,
She doesn't like this life.
yes, she
And I
does
think
not.
the only thing that she's holding on to is Tamlin because she's told herself that she loves him and that she did all these things for him. And
She
if she
died
walks,
for him.
yeah, if she walks away from that, then what does that mean? Kind of, a moment. But like, if
Sunk
she
cost
didn't have to worry
fallacy.
about Tamlin, she would have been long gone.
Oh yeah, I think so. Um, who knows where she'd go, but
Okay, I love this little like nod to what we might get in book 3. So at the bottom of page 17, she's asking about what color flowers, right? And of course she's like, no red, I hate red. It reminds me of all the things. And then Ianthe goes, russet would be pretty with all the green, but maybe that's too autumn court. And I was like, what the scandal would be if the marriage to the spring court high lords colors at that wedding was all autumn court color. Could you imagine the exact like the like I feel like Tamlin is already very much like Lucian stay away from my girl. And then like just imagine if he walks into his wedding and he's like, the fuck is all this?
that's funny. Also, russet
Yeah, it's like an
is
orange.
brown.
It's an orange brown. It's actually really pretty, but yes.
Oh. Well, I immediately the only time we've ever seen the word russet is with
Yeah.
Lucian's eye. And
Yeah.
so,
It's like
yeah.
an auburn redishy orangey, like a burnt
Okay.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird. I
The
do like
wedding I
how
was just in were those colors.
oh,
It was
yeah.
really pretty. But yeah, it is very autumn court.
Yeah, that's funny. Although I feel like it's because she's just like cuz I think this transitions to her like talking about Lucian. Maybe not actually. But I just thought it was a weird thing. Also, she does the one thing she says is not red. Technically, after that, she does say do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's like the only specification she said was not red. Um,
And that's exactly what Ianthe does because she's a
yeah.
bitch.
I mean, she does say do whatever you want, but but come on,
She was
you
very quick. She interrupted her sentence, said not read.
yes, yeah.
Although
That is
all she did say was not read. She didn't say all like we know why, but all she said to Ianthe was not read.
yeah. She didn't explain it, so maybe Riente was like, oh, she doesn't know how good red looks on her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But red roses are the love roses, and you're in the autumn or you're in the spring court. Blah blah blah. You're like, I said no red, bitch.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or she
Oh,
did it on purpose to fuck her up
maybe.
because with Feyre out of the way, Ianthe can try to sneak on in there and comfort
Mhm.
Tamlin, which I'm sure she tried to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um also, okay, the part this is what I was looking for earlier. Um I just thought it was interesting to note because it seems like it's something that's going to come back. She's talking about like the high fae in general cuz Feyre says your kind, she's like our kind.
Mm-hmm.
But she went on, we are old and cunning and enjoy using words like blades and claws. Every word from your mouth, every turn of phrase will be judged and possibly used against you. Um, that feels like something that we haven't really seen come to fruition,
Yeah.
and which makes you think maybe it still could. But anyway, I just was like noticing it, this weird kind of thing. Um, and yeah, she's waiting for a mating bond that's never gonna come. She thinks they should be with Tamlin,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd ask
He took
Lucien.
Ianthe's side with the
Yes,
dress.
that's come on.
The way she thinks about it too is like so ugh. Like,
She is mad that that he didn't side with her. Like specifically, she's like, why would he side with her over me? Um,
yes, but she also says, I wanted to push back about it, hating that though he agreed with me, he had sided with her, but dot dot dot, it took more energy than it was worth.
yeah, she's just fucking depressed and tired.
She's so checked out.
Yeah. Here's what I also was wondering. So where does they talk about priestesses? Oh yeah, it says there's 12 high priestesses, and they who governed their sisters across every territory in Prythian. So while the 7 high lords ruled from Prythian from thrones, the 12 high priestesses reigned from the altars. And I was just thinking, like, it seems like there's at this stage, Farrah is talking about them as much more like, we like it seems like they're like an entity much more than they seem like it, and maybe it's just our perspective in Night Court because Reese isn't like he's not down with that. But like, how prominent are they? Have we ever seen them like flex their power? I
Not
feel like
really.
not. But you would think that the high priestess lady, like the queen of those people, would have been in that High Lords meeting, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so
You would
from this
think so.
description, it seems like they're like a key governing force.
Yeah.
So, but they're like never. Is that just like? Did she just forget?
Maybe.
Like,
But I don't know. I think it just hasn't come back up yet because there's 12 gods in Throne of Glass and there's 12 priestesses
mm,
here. So I'm wondering if like
yeah.
each one of those areas that they govern is for a different like patron
Okay.
god, patron deity.
Interesting. I was like just systemically just like,
Yeah.
why don't we see them exert their power? Why don't we see them like, can we call on the priestesses or
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe it's just more prestige thing. Oh yeah, Feyre is jealous of Ianthe just being able to just do whatever she wants. I often wondered what it was like to be that free.
Oh, because she could fuck whoever she wants?
Yeah, or just she doesn't have to worry about stuff. She's jealous
But the
of
conversation is about sex, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting that she's like, she can dally with whoever she wants. I wonder what it was like to be that free. Oh, you're already not.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow my notes are out of order. What didn't we already talk about Valahan?
Well, because I was talking about the map last episode, that Valahan is now on the map.
Oh no, I know, but like, weren't we just talking about how Anthe was away?
Yeah, that she was
Or
away, that
maybe
she didn't side with Amarantha because her
yeah,
father sent her away.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because on the oh yeah, because she thinks that who does she think?
Because she says, despite being the high priestess, she and her family had escaped the horrors of Under the Mountain by running. Her father, one of Tamlin's strongest allies amongst the Spring Court and a captain in his forces, had sensed trouble coming and packed off Ianthe, her mother, and two younger sisters to Valahan, one of the country's countless fairy territories across the ocean. For 50 years, they'd lived in a foreign court, biding their time while their people were butchered and enslaved. I hadn't once mentioned it. I knew better than to ask. I don't know.
Funny because Feyre's kind of judging her for being sheltered a little bit, but also the inner circle is the same.
Mm-hmm.
But also because Reese made them that way, but
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting.
Uh, at the bottom, I know we're skipping around a little bit. I'm sorry for the
No, it's
listeners today, but on the bottom of page 18, Ianthe says, "It's an important moment for me as well." And I wrote, ew.
yeah. Every element of this wedding sends a message. Um,
Yeah.
that's above. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, Feyre's seeing through it a little bit. You and I are so alike. Untested among these wolves. Um, and then she follows it up with like, "I'm so grateful to you and Tamlin
Yeah.
to allow me." But she definitely is,
Has pushed herself into that place. Yeah.
mhm,
The three of us make a formidable unit. Do you think that she would suggest a thruple?
probably. She'd, yeah, or she'd work Feyre out of the situation.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, not, and then she's grumpy about Lucian.
Yeah. Yeah. She often found ways to bring him up, to corner him at events, to touch his elbows or shoulder. He ignored it all. Last week, I'd finally asked him if she'd set her sights on him, and Lucian had merely given me a look, snarled softly before stalking off. I took that as a yes.
Lucian ain't having it. He also sees through people very easily.
Oh yeah, well it's that
He's
eye,
like,
yo.
not, yeah, 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 yeah. I want to know what that I do.
I love I love that she knows that this is a lie already, right? She's just like, um, it's hard for him where females are involved. And Ianthe's like, he's fucked a bunch of chicks. It's the problem. And then she's like, perhaps it's different with you. Perhaps it means something he's not ready for. I shrugged, searching for the right words. Perhaps he stays away because of it. And then, like, I considered and prayed she brought my half lie.
Oh, that's the line I was looking for. But I did not think Lucian forgave her or would ever
Mhm.
forgive her for fleeing during Amarantha's reign. That's the line I was looking for a second ago because that's very interesting.
Well, and
Um,
then the foreshadowing. Sometimes I honestly wondered if my friend might rip her throat out for it. And you're like, well, someone's gonna rip her throat out. I have this image in my head of this conversation. So Feyre's sitting there doing fucking nothing because no one
yeah.
lets her do anything, and she's all sucked up and looks like Bella in the last movie, all fucking half dead and ghostly and purple bags under her eyes. And Anthe's like, "Are you at least excited for the wedding?" And Feyre, in full fucking halfway to Suriel mode, is like, "It'll be the happiest day of my life."
Yeah, she doesn't seem yeah, she's putting it on a little.
I fiddled with my emerald ring. It'll be the happiest day
Yeah.
of my life.
Yeah, and then just look at a distraction because uh it's a lie.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, the proposal seems nice, but yeah, it also seems like she's grasping onto anything to make her feel better.
well, and even the way she says it, are you least excited for the wedding? I fiddled with my emerald ring. It'll be the happiest day of my life. Even just that line alone, fiddling with something is a nervous thing. So
Yeah.
it therefore makes the thing about the happiest day seem like a lie. But then the next sentence, the day Tamlin had asked me to marry him, I certainly felt that way, which implies that she no longer feels that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, there's a lot of tells in here. I'm really actually like shooketh that I really went into like those first couple of visits with Reese where it seemed like she was gonna stay there. The first read through, I was like, "This is wrong. She's supposed to be with Tamlin," and now I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Do I have reading comprehension? Clearly not." Like,
I think that's the
because
beauty of
I
hindsight,
was
though.
pro Tamlin for so much longer
Yeah.
because I never really read a romance book, and I was like, "This is just
Yeah.
this feels wrong. And now I realize that it's like very common to have like a what is this trope called? Like where you have like the first guy, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a red herring of mates.
Maybe, yeah. So, um, I would see through it right now. I would see through it immediately. I think. I hope.
Yeah.
But it is so funny to see lines like this and be like, how did I fall for this?
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that's kind of the beauty of the writing though
yeah.
too, is that we all kind of fell for it. And that's kind of the
Well, it
power
does feel
of his
overt here, but
it
maybe it's
does,
just
but again,
hindsight.
that's hindsight, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that that's kind of the power of, like, an abusive relationship where you don't see what's abusive until you're out of it.
And then you're like, yeah, I did just say it was fine if he hit me sometime.
Yeah,
Like you're like, what do you
exactly.
mean I said that? Like
Well, and
everything
we
you do and
also
said sounds crazy when you
well,
think
and
back
there's
on it.
also so many tropes of, like, he loves me, but he'll burn the world down, and, like, that whole,
Yeah,
like,
not my favorite.
but then you start to see, you're like, "Oh, she ruined her soul for him. It's her true love." And you're like, "Oh, that's not how that's supposed to be." And really, no one should be burning the world down for one person either. That seems a bit much. But,
No.
you know, you're like,
Yeah.
that's a little toxic.
Yeah, please don't kill
I'm
people in my
always here
name,
for it because
sir.
I'm a unhinged girly, but yeah. But that's why I fell for this shit early on. I was like, "Okay, you do you. You give up everything for a man." And then I was like, "What? What did
Yeah.
I just say?" Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's very telling. Um,
Ugh. Yeah. Okay. So she's talking about how Tamlin lets Ianthe have a midday prayer every day. And right, so it says, it was all I could do to keep from bolting before the hour was up, and Ianthe floated to her own personal prayer room. So the room was a gift. It's intense that Tamlin's giving her rooms as gift, but okay. A gift from Tamlin upon her return to offer midday thanks to the cauldron for our land's liberation, my triumph, and Tamlin's ensured dominance over this land. I
yeah.
sometimes debated asking her to pray for me as well, to pray that I'd one day learn to love the dresses and the parties and my role as a blushing pretty bride. Yikes.
Yeah. Do you think if she had said that, Aunt, they would have gone to Tamlin and been like, "You got to fix
100%.
that thing. She hates it."
100%. Yes. Or she would have
Like,
used it. She would have
or
used
maybe
it for her own gain.
called Auntie as like a spy so he could know. I don't
And that's
know.
why she doesn't talk to her, because she also knows that, like, if she says that, then that gets back to Tamlin and that fucks up everything.
I don't think she necessarily thinks that, but maybe subconsciously though. I also noted that those three things, um, liberation, my triumph, Tamlin's ensured dominance, all very like power, like
Yep. Yep.
like liberation, dominance, triumph, like
Yeah.
that's what Anthe cares about, and
Hmm.
Feyre sees right through it too.
And Tamlin cares about those things too. Yes, thank you for praying for those things. Thank you for
Yeah.
offering your graciousness that this woman, who I won't let do anything, did the biggest thing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I also think it's funny, like, she says it'll be the happiest day of my life, and then we get a lot of that internal monologue. The next thing Anthony says, though, the union is cauldron blessed. Your survival of horrors under the mountain only proves it. And that's for some reason. Oh, yeah. I caught her glance then toward my left hand, the tattoos.
Yeah.
Anthony looks at her saying, the union is cauldron blessed. Your survival proves it. Then she looks at her tattoos and then there's a whole I have more thoughts about that after, but it is interesting because it's sort of saying it like aligns the tattoos with her survival and saying that the union that came from her survival is cauldron blessed, but technically you could say that she's talking about the union between her and Reese. um
Yes, or
or she sees Reese as a threat, obviously, but
she sees Reese as the horrors under the mountain and not Ianthe, or not Amarantha. That she associates
yeah,
the horrors that Feyre went through to Reese.
but she doesn't really necessarily have anything against Reese. Like she tried to seduce him like not even that long ago, right?
Yeah, but
So
that's
she
why she would
even
have
thinks
something against him, because didn't he break her hand or some shit?
no. I think he just pushed her away or something.
He pushed her out like naked into the hallway.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think he hurts her hand because I feel like there would be more.
I think he threatens her. He
Remember
says,
that
if you
Feyre hurt.
touch me without
Yes.
consent again, I'll cut your hand off or some shit.
Yeah.
And that was part of why Feyre hurt her hand, because she saw her put her hands on Lucien the way that she had put on Rhys. And that's when she
Yeah.
says, keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
So yes, it's a little bit about Lucien, but it's because it comes back to Rhys.
Yeah, but I don't know. I love that little tie, and it really can like be one of those double things.
Oh, for
Also,
sure.
um,
I think we are supposed to associate the horrors with Rhys. Like that's what we're supposed to think. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really more of a subtlety to
well, she
that. Like,
says your survival is the thing that makes it college and blessed, but Reese was the key to her survival.
yes,
Um, and yeah, so looks at her tattoos. Feyre decides she's not going to hide her hand to the table, but she has an instinct. Then, um, she says we could get you gloves, and it's funny because like Feyre does not. She's like, I'll consider it, but like she's like,
hmm,
I don't know. Like you think she would be like, yeah, we need to get gloves.
yeah.
Like she's like, I feel like she doesn't really want to get gloves. I feel like she wants to.
I mean, she already looks like a fucking marshmallow. Why not throw some gloves on her?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they try to put red gloves on her? Your hands are
Are her
already
hands
tainted.
red?
Yeah, yeah, your hands are already stained red. Might as well put these beautiful blood red gloves on.
Oh my God. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting the way she doesn't say yes because she's not
Mm-hmm.
locking into hiding
Yeah.
her Reese moment. I like how when Tamlin comes in the room, she reaches for her knife first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who does she think it is? I guess
I
she's
mean,
doing it out of habit.
well, and that's also it's yes, it's out of habit, but it's also to show that like
She doesn't need
she's in the place that she has constantly called her salvation in the past book.
it.
The
Hmm.
place that she calls home, and she doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Also, he kept his own quarters, deeming it vital for me to have my own space. That is some bullshit.
Well, then he's in her room every night.
Yes, but it's vital for him to have it. So she doesn't have her own space. He's in her room every night. He has his own space
Yeah. Yeah,
because
and
she
she's
does.
weirded out by it. She's like, I wonder why. Maybe the her vomiting was why he hadn't pushed the issue. Maybe when we get married, I get to go in his room.
Bro, you haven't even visited into his room. Like that's not equal. That's consort shit.
It's weird. Yeah. Um.
I did note that when I didn't know if the darkness was permanent, that did remind me of Aelin, right? When she is kind of afraid of the dark after being in the
Mhm.
dungeons in Indivir, that she like will wake up in the middle of the night and like have to put on a candle or whatever to chase the darkness away. But and
Yeah.
you know, it's again, it's not anything that's super poignant because that would happen if you're in a place that's dark and scary, but it did remind me of that sort of same kind of trauma that Aelin has.
That's interesting. Yeah. And so their conversation is basically, you're awake. I couldn't sleep. Goes and takes off his clothes
And then just
and
says, "Come here."
well, that's a snarl.
Mm-hmm.
I prop myself up on my elbows to watch. So my attention went to the strong, clever fingers that unfastened his pants. So is he letting out a snarl of approval because she's looking at his pants?
Yeah, because
Okay.
he knows she wants to fuck.
Yeah. My mouth went dry. I don't know. That's funny to me.
Okay, this is also something that is so obvious now. His features turned ravenous while I crawled across the bed and rose up on my knees. She crawls to him. Reese bows to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's on her knees.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
funny.
even before that, she's literally crawling across the bed to this guy, like so submissive position,
Mm-hmm.
so unequal.
Yeah, cousin
And then
skin.
they have an open-eyed kiss.
They do.
Ugh, it's so gross.
Why are we looking at each other while we're
I
kissing?
held his gaze through the kiss. No, stop. Close your eyes. That's so awkward.
It's so weird. She should have roasted when he said, "You think it's funny her little noise she makes?" She should have been like, "Isn't it weird that you open your eyes in your kiss because you don't have a soul?" Like that should have been her comeback. Um,
Although, if she knows that his eyes are open, her eyes are open too.
mhm.
Nesta and Cassian have an open-eyed kiss too, and I find it so
Do they?
fucking weird. Yeah, they're just like,
Oh.
"How are you what?
Maybe
No."
it's SJM's the problem. She's having open-eyed kisses and then she thinks it. Um, yeah, also, his calloused hands grazed my hips, my waist, then held me there as he lowered his head, seizing the kiss. Anyway, held me. I don't know. And okay, I also on page 21, bottom of 21, a brush of his tongue against the seam of my lips had me opening fully for him as he swept in, claiming me, branding me. Which claiming me, that's like one of those mate words that we're supposed to be
Mhm,
like, it's their mates, but then also
mhm,
branding me is
mhm.
that's very like it's not the first time she's used brand to describe Tamlin, and I get it. It's just like, it feels like a very intense thing, but also, I don't know. To me, I go, "What do you brand? You brand your fucking cows, so people
Yeah.
know they're yours."
Yep, you
And
brand
it's
your
just
property.
weird to like
You write your name on your stuff.
associate your fiance with somebody who's doing ownership things to you.
Yep.
Um, so I don't know. I don't like the use of brand, but it's also set on a level because of the way the sentence is set up. Claiming me, branding me. Those are
Yeah.
synonyms. Those are the same thing. One is an elaboration of the other. Um, and I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. Um,
The thing is, she doesn't say so on 22, right? He stretched above me, right? His head lowering to my breast, and all it took was one press of his teeth against my nipple before I was clawing at his back, before I hooked my legs around him and he settled between them. I needed this. Not him. This. She needs a distraction.
yes.
She needs a release.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good this, not
Mm-hmm.
Tamlin. Um,
Also, I mean, I don't want to be a jerk for how people like to have sex because I don't want to yuck somebody's yum, but and she seems to enjoy this. However, he just shoves into her with one mighty stroke. And then we refused, two hearts beating as one, and I promised myself it would always be that way as he pulled out a few inches, the muscles of his back flexing beneath his hands, and then he slammed back into me again and again. Now, again, not trying to yuck somebody's yum, but I'm just saying, and I know she's already naked, she wants this, she needs this, all the things, but like, can you just like foreplay for a minute? Can you get a girl warmed up before you just like plow your massive fey dong into her and blast her again and again?
I mean,
It doesn't read as romance. It doesn't read at like I get that it is supposed to be like, oh, it's like, oh, our hearts beating as one and we came together and I needed it and like the but I think it's the ferocity and the like she needs the release. So she just needs
yes,
them to like get in there
yes,
and do the thing because it's not about intimacy. It's not about feeling his presence or feeling safe. It's about getting this release.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see how she might be into that, but
And again, I'm
it's not
I'm
what you
and
want in the first sex scene of this
well, and that's
romance
what I'm
book.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Like,
it definitely
and
seems
again,
like very rough.
yeah, no, and that's again, I don't want to make a comment on who and could or could not like this, but I think that the way that it's reading is not about romance and intimacy. I think it's about I
Escapism.
need to feel something. I need to do something other than the nothing that I've been doing. And I feel fucking terrible and I can't eat and I can't sleep. And so
Mhm.
the only other base instinct is sex. And so I'm going to need you to just get in here and make me feel anything other than what I'm feeling. And that's
Mhm.
this like sort of quickened less, no one's taking their time here. She crawls to him and then he pumps one out real quick, which again, it happens. But I just don't think it's like, I think it's telling for what she's experiencing that she needs that release. She needs something to make her feel better.
I think there was some foreplay actually. Because let me
Oh,
think.
yeah, he
It
plays
was
with her boobs for a while.
No, I think she comes before this. Okay, look. Okay, shattered usually means like you came, right? A lot of
Mhm.
times, because on in the top, like the middle of the page, I moved on him.
Oh,
Lightning
yeah,
flash,
yeah.
flash in my brains is, and my focus narrowed to his fingers, his mouth, palm pushed against a bundle of nerves,
Mhm.
and I groaned his name as I shattered. What is he just palm her clit and she comes?
Yeah,
That's
pretty
what she's
much.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the second that she comes, though, she throws her head back and gulps down the night cool
Night cool
air.
air. Yeah. She came and then begged for a Reese.
Yep.
Yeah. And then okay, so there, there's a case for
She
not,
yeah.
it's not that rough, but it is
Yeah,
still
yeah,
like
yeah.
the way he said slammed, it's definitely it's a mhm.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not opposed to slamming, but I just think that it's a different kind of vibe than what you would expect
Like a
of
tone setting sex scene.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because this is like a romance book. This is where you're setting the reader's expectation for like the rest of the book, and you're like, all right, it's nice,
Also,
but
here's the events. Her and Tamlin have an argument. He comes home, immediately fucks her, and then says I'm sorry.
yes, yes.
He love bombs her. Says I'm sorry. She says it's fine. I understand. Not a lie, but not quite the truth, right? And then he's like, you are everything to me. I need you to be all right. And that's the problem, is that she just needs to be okay. To know
Mhm,
that they can't get you, can't hurt you anymore. And she just says, I know, I know. But what about you? Who gets to keep you safe? And then he has this whole fucking moment of like locking up. And then he kisses her over her heart. And she says, that was answer enough. No, it's not at all. But okay. Like he's completely deflecting with any affection, right? And then he says, soon you'll be my wife and it'll be fine. We'll leave all this behind.
yeah, that's
Marriage
like
marriage
let's
does
have a
not
baby to save the marriage.
yeah, marriage doesn't fix this. What are you talking about? So they've had an argument. They've said nothing to each other. He's just banged her and given her all of this like love dopamine hits, then apologizes, but then still kind of backpedals on that apology, right? He's
Mhm,
like, I'm sorry about earlier, but I need you to be all right. I need you to be safe. I'm doing what I need to do. And she's like, I know, I know, I know, I know. Like,
mhm.
totally just whatever. And then dismissive again. It'll be fine. We'll move past this. It'll be over. And then when she tries to talk to him again, what will everybody call me then? We get all of our like foreshadowing for a high lady, right?
Mhm.
Um also, right, so he's kissing on her. Is everyone just going to call me Tamlin's wife? Do I get a title? And he lifts his head and looks at her and goes, "Do you want a title?" I just thought it was so like, "Do you want one?"
See, I read it the first time I read it as like, oh, I didn't. Okay, you want one? I'll get it for you. That I read it that way.
I read it that way
Um,
the first time, but the second time I'm getting the like, is that you want a title?
because if he like really thought was surprised by it, he probably wouldn't immediately lick her nipple after, or
Yeah.
like he's. It's kind of like
Yeah.
he's just pausing for a second, but yeah.
And he's trying to like distract her with sex, which is what she wants. She wants the distraction, she wants the release. But now she's actually trying to talk to him and he's just like, trying to get some more and get her to loosen up and being persuasive through physical means.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, and I will say the other thing about this, the whole like encounter, is that it does really feel like it's just such desperation on her part.
Yeah.
Like when in the first part of the scene, it's please, I gasped out, Tamlin, I begged. Like it
Yeah.
just feels like this isn't like, on some level you could just be horned up and begging because you're so in love. But like, it just seems like a vice. Like she's just
Yeah.
like this, you could sub it in for like a substance and it would be the same kind of like feeling. Or it is kind of her substance,
Yeah.
right now.
Well, and then she says, I don't know if I can handle them calling me high lady. And he's like in between her thighs now with his face, and he's like, they won't. And then there's no such thing as a high lady. He grips my thighs, spreads me open, right? And she says, "What do you mean there's no such thing as a high lady?" The heat, his touch, all of it stopped. He looked at me from between my legs and I almost climaxed at the sight of it. But what he said, what he'd implied, ... She's like, "What do you mean there's no high lady?" Right? What he implied. Oh, I don't have rule. I won't have any powers. What he just straight out said. He didn't imply. And then he kisses the inside of her thigh and then says, "High lords only take wives, consorts. There's never been a high lady." So he's still love bombing her as he's telling her, "No, you can be my wife or my consort, but you're not my equal." And she says, "But Lucian's mother," he says, she's the lady of the autumn court, not high lady, just as you will be lady of the spring court. They will address you as they address her. They'll respect you as they respect her. Again, so dismissive though, because we all know that she has no power.
Yeah, and up to now she has come across as so like little meek and
Mm-hmm. Well,
honestly
and like
miserable.
Lucian's mom is quiet, and the only time we see her is when she does something in secret to
Hmm.
help Feyre to repay for her son.
Yeah,
And we later know that she had to go back to Baron after falling in love with somebody else. So like clearly she has no power.
I don't know if that's the story that SJM wrote on the side. It's like a little novel,
There's a
standalone
novella
novel.
of their love
Yeah,
triangle. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too, but it would be so sad because you know how it ends.
Yeah.
Um,
Um so Lucian's, and then he says, "I don't want to hear another male's name on your lips right now." He growls and lowered his mouth to me. At his first stroke of his tongue, I stopped arguing. And I wrote, "I hate all of this."
yeah, because yeah, it's like if you were trying to have a serious conversation and
Mm-hmm.
your partner is just like, yeah, whatever. They're just not taking you seriously.
Well,
Or they only see you as like this thing to fuck. So
or they know that it's the only thing that brings you a little bit of reprieve from your misery. And so instead of actually talking to you and listening to you,
and working through
they're
that misery.
using
Yeah.
it to win an argument.
Yeah. Yep.
Yay! Sex with Tamlin. A century of it ahead of you, babe.
A century
A
of
100 years of getting slammed. Which doesn't sound all that horrific, but a little horrific.
um yeah, okay. So it's so interesting just being this such a different book and we're just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah,
I love this book, though. I'm so excited.
I love this
So,
book.
chapter 3 next week, we get a Lucian conversation. I peeked ahead a little bit. That's all I know about the next chapters, that we get the conversation where she calls out Lucian for lying to her, and he basically tells her to talk to Tamlin, but to know that, like, he's not going to back off because he watched you die.
Yep.
So, yep. So she's kind of stuck, and then he says, "Don't make me choose because I'll choose him. He's the High Lord, he's law," which is
Yep.
gross. Yep. So we get a few more chapters of her being miserable, and then we'll get our rescue. Okay, so next week we'll do chapter 3, and to the stars who listen, we'll see you then.
Yeah.